it's Disney Girl here for a predictions video of what is to come in the Disney's Magic Kingdoms game. So on November 21st, which is in 44 days, we are getting a brand new Wreck-It Ralph movie, which is going to be awesome. Ralph breaks the internet. So this is why I'm thinking that Ralph and all of his friends need to come into the Disney's Magic Kingdoms game. So I'm thinking Wreck-It Ralph. I'm thinking that the name of the event will be Game Time because all of the characters obviously have their own games, and I think that it will kind of work nicely with the attractions and stuff like that about what is to come and what those characters will be doing. So I'm thinking that we're going to probably have to stop Turbo from going Turbo and taking over the arcade. So that leaves me to what characters we could be getting for this event. So obviously first, I'm thinking the first character they will have for the event we'll start with is Fix-It Felix, and I think his character token will be his magic hammer naturally. So I'm thinking that he would be a great addition to the kingdom. So here I've just made some images for you guys of what his welcoming screen could look like of him coming into the kingdom. Next we've got Sergeant Callahan. So guys, these are all made by me, so don't worry, we don't have any proof just yet, but Sergeant Callahan obviously I think would come in next naturally because she was a pretty big part of the Wreck-It Ralph 1 movie. So I'm thinking all these characters are going to be based off the first movie, and then that will give them additional time to build on that later on in tower challenges. Next, naturally, we need Ralph. So Ralph, I'm thinking his character token will be a hero medal because that's basically why he goes a little bit turbo and leaves his game. I wouldn't say he went full turbo because he fully intended to go back, but he definitely went partial turbo for sure. Next, we've got Vanellope von Schweetz. So I think they'll just call her Vanellope though in the game. I'm not sure what they would do with her welcoming screen. It could just be she walks in, or they could do something really cool and she actually drives in with her super cute candy car. That's sort of what I'm thinking, unless they decide to use it for a parade float, which I'll talk to you a little bit more in a minute about. So next we have King Candy as the villain. So he is known as Turbo in his old game, but since he jumped over to Sugar Rush, he is now known as King Candy. So I think he's going to be the evil villain to sort of replace Ursula. Then I'm not quite sure. That gives us 5 characters so far, and that leaves 2 left because they always release 7 characters to us in events. So if we have to have 7, I know those 5 I'm like 99% sure they couldn't do without in the game. But then there are 2 that could be possible. So I'm thinking maybe Sour Bill, because he was sort of King Candy's right-hand man, and there was some talk with him throughout the first movie. And then Taffeta, because she is, I feel like, Vanellope's biggest rival, and I feel like they need one of the racers from Sugar Rush in the game. I don't know really who else, though, they could put in the kingdom, but let me know in the comments below if you guys have any other character predictions for the Wreck-It Ralph event, which we know whether it's in the next 2 months or a little bit later than that, they definitely are going to be putting Wreck-It Ralph in the game. I don't think as a main storyline, but you never know. I'm like 99% sure they would do a limited time event though. So limited time events usually go for 26 days, so that'll be long enough, I think, to get all the characters. But now we need to talk about the costume. So they could do a few different things with the costume. They could actually do something a little different and have King Candy as Turbo, or they could even do Turbo Virus. I don't have an image of that, but if you guys have seen the movie, when the Cybug eats King Candy or Turbo, he becomes a kind of a combination of all 3. So they could do something like that for the villain, which would be different because they usually give it to the main character. But whoever we're trying to free or save, which should be Ralph or Vanellope here. Now, Vanellope, we could get her princess costume or even Ralph as hero's duty. I mean, I don't think they would do that, but it is possible that they could add Ralph in a hero's duty costume for sure. Now, the parade float, I am thinking that it is going to probably be the candy race car. I mean, I think that would be super cool if they did something like that. I don't think it has to be Vanellope's race car, but it definitely would be really cute if they actually did use hers, because hers is very unique. So I'm not totally sure, but I'm thinking that would be a pretty cute parade float. So next we're going to talk about what we would actually have to collect for these characters. So I've said a little bit about what character tokens could be for each of the characters, but the one thing though is we need a common character token that each of them have to collect. So for Big Hero 6 it was the Microbot, for the Little Mermaid it was the seashells, so I'm thinking for Wreck-It Ralph it should be the Cybug. Now the Cybugs, I'm not sure how they're going to do that exactly. They could have it, you know, maybe we're collecting candy or something like that, but we have to tap the Cybugs, but I'm thinking something has to be done with the Cybugs. I don't think they would have Cybug as an actual character. Mind you, he was a pretty big part of things, but if they wanted to make the kingdom a little creepier, they would add the Cybug. Don't think so, but I'm pretty sure we would just have to tap and clear. Now, attractions. So I think they could go a lot of different ways for attractions, but here are the ones that I would think that would be the most popular for them to use. So I think they would add the Fix-It Felix Jr. game. I think that would be a great addition for sure, and it makes sense because that's the game that Ralph and Felix come from, so I think they kind of have to have that. The next one would be Sugar Rush. Now, Sugar Rush, there's so many different things that they could do with that. I'm thinking they would start with the racetrack. They could just have it as like the start line or something like that, or they could do a full out like, you know, little course in it. I looked it up, and at Disney right now there is no actual attractions yet for Wreck-It Ralph. I think they are thinking about putting something in, but nothing's actually gone in yet, so there's nothing really to go on like the Little Mermaid event, so it's all just whatever we want, I think. Next, it would be the Diet Cola Hot Springs, because Ralph and Vanellope do spend quite a bit of time there and practicing the racing, which could lead to lots of really cute side quests with the two of them, and all that would be to try and get Vanellope ready to race again and stuff like that. So I think that would be really great. Then they could have also the characters come and visit the Diet Cola Hot Springs, so I think that one would be pretty cool to have in the game. Now they could have the castle or something like that, but I think that's less likely. I think we're more likely to see that sort of appear as like a decoration around the kingdom, like we saw with Prince Eric's castle, which I was really hoping they would have added that as an attraction in the Little Mermaid event, but they didn't. They just added it to the kingdom's decor, so I'm thinking that's what they could do with the castle for sure. Now, the last attraction would be Hero's Duty. Now, I think that one is going to be a little bit darker, but I definitely think that that would be important for Ralph and for Sergeant Callahan to be able to go there. Also, Fix-It Felix could go there as well. Now, obviously, Vanellope, I don't think she would go there because she's a glitch, she can't leave her game, so she might not be able to visit it, but I don't know what twists they'll do, especially with the new movie coming out and she goes to the internet. Not quite sure how she managed to leave her game, but we will have to wait until the movie comes out to find out about that. So okay, so that sort of leads now to the secondary storyline about what they could do, or what sort of characters we'd have to get ready for that. So since we just had the Lilo and Stitch, I'm thinking next would be the Big Hero 6 collection of characters, or they could do Alice in Wonderland. Now, I don't have any Alice in Wonderland characters, so that wouldn't be ideal for me, but I think, you know, I think Alice would be really fitting to the Ralph event for sure, but also it's true that we could have the Big Hero 6 characters. That would be actually really great because I've got a lot of them. I think most of them are over 7, so I think that could be really good. So if you guys participated in the Big Hero 6 event, get those characters ready because we know they are going to be used at some point anyways. It's just a matter of when. And we just had that event, so hopefully you guys all participated in that, unless you're just starting the game right now. And in that case, then I would say, you know what, work on getting Mickey's pirate costume and opening California Screaming. That is definitely what you need to do. So that leaves to what could they do for a tower challenge to expand the Wreck-It Ralph storyline? Well, I'm thinking that they could add the new character Shank. Now, Disney's Magic Kingdom seems to just be going right now for events and stuff based off of first movies. So like The Little Mermaid, we know there's Little Mermaid 2 out there, but they have strictly stuck with the original classic Disney movies, and the tower challenges they can just add to that. So for example, like The Incredibles, they added Jack because The Incredibles 2, you know, that they incorporated Jack a lot more. He was more of a main character, so I think that's why Jack was a secondary character. Now we could see more characters coming from that in future, definitely, like we've got Boyd and other characters like that I think should be in the kingdom, but they're not here yet. That would kind of breaks their 7 or 8 character rule. 8 would be for a tower challenge if they added one, so I'm not quite sure what they will do about that movie, but we're focusing on Wreck-It Ralph right now, and I think Shank would be a great one to add in future, and I don't think that would change things too much. She can go and visit Sugar Rush, I'm guessing, and stuff like that. I just don't know what game she is from yet, but we will find out once the movie comes out, so I'm really excited about that. So that is what I am thinking for this event. So let me know in the comments below if there are any other characters besides the ones that I have mentioned. If you have any other ideas for costumes or parade float or attractions, or if you think that we will be collecting something other than the Cybugs. Also too, if you have a different idea of the secondary storyline, that is the one thing I'm like not as sure about. I'm pretty sure the 5 characters, Fix-It Felix, Sergeant Callahan, Ralph, Penelope, and King Candy, I think they all have to be in the event. It's just a matter of whether 6 and 7, which is Sourbill and Taffeta, would actually make an appearance. So not quite sure, but we will have to wait and see what you guys have to say about it. So guys, I just want to leave on this note. I'm bad, and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me. Alright, and we'll see you guys for the next Disney's Magic Kingdoms game episode. Bye!